Okay, so what is the deal with this Linda Sarsour? First you lie, then you get big by the support of the left. Then you literally come out and call a jihad on Trump administration, pretending you're so worried about the Muslim community here in America and everywhere else, and you're such a humanitarian. Let's go over what you had to say today, shall we?
Sisters and brothers, it's been 16, almost 17 years since the horrific attacks of 9/11. And we still as a community find ourselves unprepared in so many moments. Why, sisters and brothers? Why are we so unprepared? Why are we so afraid of this administration?
Okay, you're terrified of this administration because this administration, unlike the last 8 years where you had a free pass to lie and use your taqiyya and get more of your Muslim Brotherhood members into the White House, is actually standing up to your ideology. Because this new administration, as you call it, is actually calling it what it is, the enemy of the state. That's why you're terrified, because you're exposed. Because you and the people like you who are here to take down America are being called out one by one. Anyways, moving on.
That they will ensue on our community, and we already saw their potential when they come out every few weeks. Muslim ban 1, Muslim ban 2, Muslim ban 3.
Muslim ban 1, Muslim ban 2, Muslim ban 3 is not even enough yet. Remember September 11, Boston Marathon bombing, Florida gay club shooting, San Bernardino shooting, the shoe bomber. Should I go on, or you get my point? What do you expect us to do? Not do a Muslim ban so Muslim can come in and kill us? Or are you going to tell me, oh, those are just extremists? How do we know which one of you are extremists, which one of you are peaceful? Because you're all supporting each other anyways, and you're all basically reading the same Quran. So yes, the Muslim ban 1, 2, and 3 were absolutely needed. And now you're angry about it? Well, life isn't fair. But moving on to what else you had to say.
They are relentless, they are persistent and consistent, and want to see how much we as a community can endure, and want to see who our friends are and how hard we're going to fight back against this administration.
How far are you going to fight against this administration? Okay, you're saying that Trump administration is trying to see how far you would fight the Trump administration? Because Trump administration is not after you, Linda. Trump administration has nothing to do with peaceful Muslim community. Trump administration is simply putting Americans first, their safety and their welfare. So if you got a problem with that and you want to fight the administration, I strongly suggest you stop calling yourself the American Muslim and just go with the Muslim by itself. That suits your sentences better. What else you got to complain about?
That we, when we stand up to those who oppress our communities, that Allah accepts from us that as a form of jihad, that we are struggling against tyrants and rulers.
Well, I have a very, very bad news for you, Linda. No, Allah isn't going to take this as a form of jihad from you. You know why? Because Allah is the master of oppression himself. You know the thing you're wearing around your head right now? The ultimate symbol of oppression on women under Sharia. And before you go on telling me Islam doesn't force you to wear the hijab and it's your choice, let me remind you of Quran 24th Surah verse 31 and Surah 33 verse 59, where Allah says, "O Muhammad, tell the believing woman to cover themselves up and wear the hijab so they be known and not be abused." So you really expect that Allah, who's oppressing you as a woman, is going to actually take your so hard fight against this oppression in America as a jihad? Well, I hate to break it to you, sweetheart, but no. Allah would care less about what you suffer from, because 90% of what you suffer from is sent to you by Allah in Quran and by Muhammad in the Hadith.
But here in these United States of America, where you have fascists and white supremacists and Islamophobes reigning in the White House.
Wait, Islamophobes? Okay, I wasn't born here like you, Linda, and English isn't my first language, but I'm almost positive phobia is a fear of something that doesn't exist. Now, if there's a fear of Islam, it isn't a phobia. It's a real fear. You know why? Because everywhere we turn, there's Islamic jihad. Somebody's blowing up, somebody's running with a knife saying Allah Akbar, stabbing people, somebody's driving their car into the people, somebody else is grabbing a gun, shooting people, and every single one have one thing in common. They run a screaming Allah Akbar and they kill people, which I call them jihadis. I'm sure you do the same. So it's not Islamophobia, it's actually a real fear because Muslims are killing us. But I know why you use it. Me personally, I have no problem to be called whatever it is you want to call me.
We have to stay outraged. Do not criticize me when I say that we as a Muslim community in these United States of America have to be perpetually outraged every single day. When I wake up in the morning and I remember who's sitting in the White House, I am outraged.
Fair enough. I'm not going to criticize you for being outraged. I will, however, criticize you for the reasons you're being outraged. So you are outraged because President Trump is in the White House, but you don't actually wake up every morning and be outraged because of all the non-Muslim who were killed in Europe, America, Canada, or Middle East. You don't go outraged, getting all angry for every single little girl who was sold into marriage. You don't get outraged when you hear on the news that in Michigan there's a clinic performing female genital mutilation. You don't go outraged where we have 1,200 cases of acid attack on Muslim girls in London, in UK. Oh, and I'm pretty sure you have absolutely no problem, or you never get outraged with all the honor killings happening in these United States that you're talking about today. Well, I guess because in your point of view, none of them has anything to do with Islam, right?
This is not normal, sisters and brothers. Those people sitting in the most powerful seats in this country is not normal. So do not ever be those citizens that normalize this administration, because when the day comes that something horrific happens to us or to another community, you will be responsible for normalizing this administration.
Okay, so having a decent white American conservative in the office isn't normal and it shouldn't be normalized. But wearing a hijab as a woman should be normalized. Selling halal and taking 5% of it, sending it to jihad and ISIS should be normalized. Having Friday prayers in the middle of the street should be normalized. Having loud speakers on the mosque to wake everybody up at 5 o'clock in the morning for the prayer call should be normalized. Or maybe even having a Muslim supporter for 8 years in the White House to destroy America should be normalized, right?
Our number one and top priority is to protect and defend our communities. It is not to assimilate and to please any other people in authority. Our obligation is to our young people, is to our women, and make sure our women are protected in our community.
Okay, I agree. I agree. Our priority should to be positive that our women, young generation, and children are being protected. So let's talk about this for a second, Linda. Stay with me, okay? So let's talk about Quran. Fourth surah, called the woman. Third verse, you're familiar with it? If you can't do justly with the infant, then get a wife of 2, 3, or 4. But if you can do just, then give them equal marriage gift. Just in case if you don't know what that means, there's a hadith by Aisha, the 6-year-old wife of Muhammad, your prophet, where she said, what Allah means by this verse is, if you're in love with an orphan for her beauty or wealth, make sure to give her the same amount of money you would give to an adult woman. Not sick yet? Okay, let's talk about 4th surah, 11th verse, where Allah says, your daughter is worth half of your son. Whatever you leave behind, your son will take twice as your daughter. We got no problem there? Okay. How about Surah 4th, verse 34th, where it says, if, and I mean if, you think your wife might possibly start disobeying you, warn her, separate your bed, then beat her until she obeys you. You're so cool with all that, right? All of our women and children are being completely protected under Islam with the Allah that you're talking about. So the issue is right now we have to protect our women and children from Trump administration. I don't remember President Trump saying female genital mutilation is okay. I don't remember the last time President Trump made a law in this country saying sell your 9-year-old daughter. And I don't remember President Trump saying I'm going to make a law where a woman decides to leave her husband, the husband can stone her to death. So you want to stand there and pretend like you care for women under Sharia? Oh, sweetheart, you're on a very, very wrong side of the road.